3 weeks in a row, every Tuesday at 6 in the morning, my trash can was flattened. Not by some wild animal, not by a rogue wind, but by Bethany Thornfield, our self-proclaimed queen of the HOA, barreling her spotless white Lexus right into it like she was collecting a debt. There I was, standing in my driveway, surveying the battlefield plastic mangled coffee grounds, painting a 20-foot streak up the street, banana peels dangling off my mailbox like grim party decorations. The stench, a combo of old garbage and motor oil, turned my stomach. And then there was Mrs. Cecilia peering through the fence, trying not to laugh out loud, but failing miserably. That little laugh of hers that was the turning point. Because what Bethany never realized is that she wasn't up against just any neighbor. She had no idea she'd picked a fight with an electrician who knows a thing or two about how to solve a problem for good. This is how the nightmare started in Willowbrook Estates, where I, Lucian Delroy, landed 2 years ago, hoping to give my daughter Savannah and myself a reset after cancer took my wife. I figured a quiet neighborhood, good schools, maybe that would help heal a 17-year-old trying to finish high school without her mom. Thought it'd be a place where life would finally calm down, where a father and daughter could piece things back together. Turns out I was wrong on all counts. Years of working as a union electrician, calloused hands closed, forever stained, brain wired for troubleshooting, taught me that every system has its fix. But no textbook, no wiring diagram, no circuit breaker could have prepared me for Bethany Thornfield. Picture her silver hair frozen stiff as a helmet cardigan's, fancier than anything in my closet, a Lexus shining brighter than most operating rooms. 8 years running the HOA, like her personal fiefdom, she'd mastered the art of weaponized politeness, her voice sweet and sharp as a dentist's drill, her high heels a warning siren you could hear halfway down the block. The trouble began just 3 weeks after we moved in. I followed every HOA rule, put the regulation bin right at the curb, dropped Savannah at school, headed to the job. Come home and it looks like a raccoon riot broke out. Coffee grounds everywhere, broken glass catching the afternoon sun, banana peels draped across my mailbox. The smell just about knocked me flat. Mrs. Cecilia, hands shaking quietly, whispers from her window, "I saw it. She used her car. Bethany did it." And sure enough, there was my trash can crunched and scattered across the driveway with tire marks to match. Second week, same carnage, but now a $75 fine in the mailbox for unsightly debris. Third week, Bethany with a tape measure circling my property, documenting infractions, grass a half-inch too tall, hose visible from the street mailbox numbers, not perfectly lined up. Savannah started slipping out early for school, dodging the Tuesday morning mess. My boss was sick of my excuses. College deadlines were looming and our so-called fresh start had become a war zone. By week 4, the security camera was up. Tuesday morning, 6:47, it caught Bethany's Lexus rolling up, squaring off with my bin like she was setting up for a strike. Backs up, rams it, backs up, rams again. Then she just sits there for 30 seconds, engine humming, admiring the mess. The look of satisfaction on her face, that was the last straw. That night, while scrubbing coffee grounds off the pavement, I started digging. 7 families had left Willowbrook in 3 years. All of them minorities, single parents, anyone not fitting Bethany's idea of community standards had endured the same targeted harassment. It wasn't random. It was a campaign. The realization hit hard. She was used to people folding, moving away, keeping their heads down, but this time she picked the wrong person. I've spent 2 decades installing systems that can handle 20,000 volts, pressures nothing new. I wasn't about to run. Week 5, she ups the ante. The citation blitz. While I'm cleaning up the latest garbage disaster, Bethany strolls over heels, clicking clipboard in hand, smile fixed like a mask. "Mr. Del Rey," she says, mangling my name on purpose. "We have a serious problem." Another citation, this one for $125. Repeated violations of waste management protocol, whatever that means. I pointed out the bin was exactly where the rules say. She leans in, drops her voice to a hiss. "Your failure to prevent debris scatter is disrupting the neighborhood. Her perfume and the garbage smell together." That's what absurdity smells like. And then she says it, "Property liens are expensive to resolve. I'd hate to see your daughter's college plans disrupted by foreclosure proceedings." That wasn't just bullying anymore. That was a threat. That night I dug into the HOA documents. Found all the loopholes, all the fuzzy language. Nothing was really measured, just community standards all up for interpretation. So I went out with my tape measure in the moonlight, checked every bin on my street. 23 houses, everyone breaking the same rules as me. But only 5 families, mine included, ever got cited. There it was, a pattern, targeted clear as day. And then the real twist, Bethany's own yard was a violations goldmine. Unauthorized trellis, painted numbers, decorative mailbox, none of it legal. Took photos, timestamped, filed a formal complaint in her own language, and started talking to the other families. Mrs. Cecilia invited me in, made jasmine tea, and confessed Bethany threatened her for having wind chimes not in keeping with neighborhood aesthetics. The Rodriguezes, the Washingtons, same stories. Bethany making their kids feel unwelcome, picking on their yards, their families, their heritage. So I built my case. Filed a complaint using Bethany's own forms, submitted evidence, requested a board meeting about her violations, knowing she couldn't legally approve her own stuff without digging a deeper hole. Next Tuesday, another garbage disaster. But that Wednesday night, I caught Bethany outside, flashlight in hand, at 2 a.m., tearing down her rose trellis, swapping her fancy mailbox for a black one. She was in such a hurry, she left half her garden decorations on the curb, and all of it caught on video by Mrs. Cecilia. Thursday. Bethany calls an emergency HOA meeting, breaking the 72-hour notice rule. We show up, cameras ready, footage in hand. Bethany sees us, sees the evidence, and cancels the meeting on the spot. Panic written all over her face. By Friday, the bylaws have been rewritten, grandfathering and all decorations installed before 2015. Except thanks to video evidence, everyone knows Bethany put hers up last spring. But buried in those rushed amendments was a gift any homeowner could make: security-related modifications with simple notification, not approval. Perfect. Meanwhile, things at home hit a low. My boss is out of patience. Savannah's struggling. It wasn't just about trash cans anymore. It was about standing up for our right to be left in peace, to have a home. And if a bully keeps ramming your property, maybe it's time to let them learn a lesson the hard way. So I paid a visit to Morrison Construction Supply, told Jake Morrison what I needed. He gave me that look, half shock, half admiration. "You want to stop a car with a garbage can?" he asks. "That's the idea," I say. We work it out: steel rebar, core polymer, concrete, industrial plastic shell. $340, a small price to pay for a little justice. Before I could start, the install city code enforcement was in my driveway. Bethany, arms folded, grinning like she'd already won. Anonymous tip about unpermitted electrical modifications. But 2 hours later, the inspector is shaking my hand, says my work is a model for the county, warns Bethany about harassment complaints. Her smile disappears. That weekend, while Bethany's at church, I dig 4 feet down, hit bedrock, build a trash can that could survive the apocalypse. Plastic shell on the outside, steel and concrete on the inside. Tuesday was going to be different. And then she tried her nuclear option: certified mail, $1,200 in made-up violations with foreclosure threats if I didn't pay in 10 days. Savannah finds me staring at the letter, hands trembling, and asks, "Are we going to lose our home too?" That was it. No more playing defense. Turns out Bethany sent the same fraudulent liens to every family who'd stood with us. Fake signatures, wrong dates, all illegal. Instead of scaring us off, she united us. That Friday, while she was away, we worked together. Mr. Washington retired veteran organized files with military precision. Mrs. Cecilia brewed coffee and kept watch. Saturday, I poured the concrete, welded the rebar. Sunday, the shell went on. Monday night, everything was ready. Tuesday, 6:47 a.m. Heart pounding. I watched through the window. The whole neighborhood on alert. Savannah peeking through the blinds, Mrs. Cecilia with her phone. The Rodriguezes on their porch, Mr. Washington reading his paper, Purple Heart gleaming. Bethany's Lexus rounds the corner, lines up for her usual hit. Only this time, when she rams the bin, there's no plastic explosion, just an awful metallic screech, glass shattering, radiator bursting. The car folds, airbag explodes, fluid pooling underneath. The bin still standing. Bethany shaken, bleeding, humiliated. I walk outside playing the concerned neighbor. Police and paramedics arrive. "Looks like she hit my trash can," I say. As innocent as can be. Insurance adjuster comes, can't believe it. Bethany starts yelling about traps, tries to blame me. But then under pressure, she admits she's been hitting his bin for weeks. Police officer raises an eyebrow, asks, "So you admit you've been ramming his property intentionally?" Mrs. Cecilia, calm as ever, provides the security footage. The whole story unfolds. Insurance won't pay for deliberate property damage. Police start talking about criminal charges. By afternoon, Bethany is threatening lawsuits, calling everyone she can. But the neighborhood rallies. Suddenly nobody's afraid anymore. The next days, Bethany tries a new strategy. Attacks my reputation at work, calls city inspectors, files complaints about unpermitted businesses, even CPS reports against the Washingtons. But every time she's tripped up by her own arrogance. Inspectors are impressed by the quality of my work. CPS finds nothing wrong. The neighborhood grows tighter. But then she tries one last desperate move. Emergency assessment, $2,400 per family to cover legal and infrastructure expenses. Mrs. Cecilia spots the forgeries, the missing votes, the illegal deadlines. Meanwhile, the Rodriguezes discover Bethany hasn't paid her own dues in months. She's embezzled thousands from the HOA for personal legal fees. Jake at Morrison calls Bethany tried to buy demolition tools, asking about dissolvers and explosives. The neighborhood holds an emergency meeting, 23 families, everyone determined. Mrs. Cecilia files complaints with the DA. Mr. Washington sends the evidence to the oversight board. The Rodriguezes alert local media. Security cameras go up around my trash can just in case. And just when things feel like they can't get any wilder, Savannah comes in beaming, college acceptance in hand. "Dad, I got in. Full scholarship." That moment, pride, relief, all of it was better than any engineering win. Turns out standing up for what's right pays off in more ways than one. Saturday morning, final showdown. Community center, packed local news, their cops and a detective waiting. Bethany tries to take charge, but the neighbors shut her down. Overwhelming vote to remove her evidence on the big screen. Ramming, embezzling, harassment, all of it. Detective stands up, reads her rights. Handcuffs click. Bethany's reign is over. Fast forward 2 years. The concrete trash can stands proud, now covered in spring flowers, neighborhood kids playing tag around it. Property values up, monthly potlucks instead of HOA threats, annual block parties celebrating what makes us different. Jake's reinforced bins are in driveways across the county, stopping bullies cold. And the real lesson, bullies only win if no one stands up. Document, organize, and stand together. Suddenly their power crumbles. Sometimes the best defense isn't fighting back, it's building something they simply can't break. For us, it was 4 feet of steel and concrete set in bedrock, a simple engineering answer to a problem as old as neighborhoods themselves. Here's what keeps me up some nights. Bethany had pulled these tricks in 2 other communities. She drove out families who thought they had no choice but to leave. Power only works when people don't know the rules. But once you do, game over. So what's the wildest thing your HOA ever tried to fine you for? Drop your story below. Maybe your experience can help someone else hold their ground. If this story lit a fire under you, hit like, subscribe, and tell us, when is the best defense just building something nobody can knock down?